Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today I am pissed off. This is BS. I really don't even know where to start. I mean, I thought we had a real chance. I really did. The Phillies had a great chance to win the whole thing after nobody expected them to be there. And then all of a sudden, you see them collapse right before everybody's very eyes. I can't believe that my short already has 70 views, so thank you all for that. But it was so upsetting, man. We had a great run, and then all of a sudden, once we, we're up 2-1, they just fell apart. It makes no sense. The pitching was terrible. The pitching was bad. The hitting has been absolutely awful. We have the sixth highest salary in the MLB, and we use that all on offense. And 1 run, 2 runs, 0 runs, 7 runs one game. And then it was kind of all down. And then 2 runs, 6 runs. We spent our entire salary on offense. And now all of a sudden, the team can't hit. We got no-hitted on. There was a no-hitter. That's unbelievable. Oh, my God. I can't really say how depressed I am, how upset I am. I am just not. Today is just a bad day. In a dreary mood. That's unbelievable. I mean, and I'm tired. And I'm also tired of the people who are saying, "Well, I'm glad they made it this far." No, why are you saying that? If you really cared, you would want to win. Losing in the World Series is the same thing as losing in the first round. You lost. Why would you be proud if you lost? I don't understand. You're proud that you lost the World Series. Whenever I lose a basketball game, everybody tells me you did a good job. No, I didn't do a good job. I lost, or we lost. The team lost. How did you do a good job if you lost? It went out so bad. And I really don't want to hear that they did a good job, because if you lost, you didn't do a good job. I had the Astros in 7. They won in 6. I would have felt a little better if the Phillies put up more of a fight and they looked like they cared. I mean, they really didn't look like they cared in the last 3 games. I think the Phillies just thought that a win was just going to be handed to them, it looked like. No, you're in the World Series. A win is not going to be handed to you. I mean, they're swinging at pitches that are so outside of the zone. I'll go through every individual player, and I'll talk about what will go from here and what I thought of them during the series. Kyle Schwarber, he looked all right. I mean, it was, once again, either a strikeout or a home run, never in between. But I'm glad to have him on the team. I'm glad that he'll be back next year, because I enjoyed what Kyle Schwarber did. He really cared. He really wanted to win, but it was a damn shame. Hoskins, he looked like he didn't give 2 nothings. I mean, he did not care whatsoever, it looked like. He swung at everything. Every pitch was a pop-out. The defense is absolute. This defense is so bad. I mean, if I was a homer and I told the committee to vote Rhys Hoskins for a Gold Glove, I think they would execute me. That's how bad his defense has been throughout the playoffs. I don't understand why his defense is just so terrible. And his hitting, too, throughout the playoffs. I mean, it was so bad. Hitting 150, 159 throughout the whole playoffs. I gave him a little bit of, an ease throughout the playoffs because he was hitting home runs, but he looked awful. In the World Series, he looked so bad. I don't even know. I mean, he wants to be paid, too. I don't know if I want to pay him. That's how bad he has looked this year. Or not this year, throughout the playoffs. And throughout the year, maybe he's not looked that great either. 246. He did hit 30 home runs, but 246. That's awful. We can't have that. Real Muto, I don't really got much to say about JT. I love Realmuto. He's a great defensive catcher. There's a reason he won the Gold Glove this year. He batted 276 this year. The playoffs, I don't think were anything special. He batted 215. But I have not much to say about JT Realmuto. He's a great catcher. I love him. So keep it at that. Bryce Harper, I got absolutely nothing to say about Mr. Harper. Batted 286 throughout the year. Would have won an MVP if he didn't get injured. He was on pace again. And he batted 349 throughout the playoffs. He hit 6 home runs. Nothing much to say about Bryce Harper. He really showed out. And it's a damn shame that he lost the World Series. Nick Castellanos, what the hell do I have to say about you? You looked like a bum. So he really did not look like he cared at all. Nothing whatsoever. It did not look like he cared. Everything was swung at. His defense was all right. Okay? But the thing is, we didn't pay him to play defense. We paid you to hit the ball. And throughout the playoffs, you batted 185. Do you know how horrendous that is? To bat 185 when you are getting paid $20 million? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear people say, well, he just had a bad year. Well, and other stars have, had bad years themselves. I don't care. Look, what are they getting paid? Castellanos is getting paid $20 million per year, and stars that have had bad years probably weren't getting paid as much as he has. He looked like a bum. I mean, take a guy, I'll just bring a random name, Bryson Stott. Do we expect him to do anything? No, he's a rookie and he's not getting paid. We expect something out of Castellanos because he's getting paid. When you are getting paid $20 million a year to bat 180 throughout the playoffs, not even a home run, that's just terrible. That's absolutely horrendous. He better pick it up. He had the highest swing rate in the MLB. He just looked like a train wreck the whole postseason. He was good for one hit every 5 games. He looked awful. He better come back and have a better year. Alec Boehm, he had a great regular season. He had 280. 13 home runs, 72 RBIs. I would have liked it if the home runs went up a little bit more, but he batted 280. I'm proud of what he did during the regular season. Playoffs, 224. Nothing to really, whistle over, but his defense was all right. So I don't really got much to say about Boehm. He did all right this year. Playoffs was a little questionable. I thought he was supposed to be the guy to step up, at least in my opinion, because he was leading us into that bottom of the order, which was hot in the beginning of the playoffs. But he really didn't do much in the World Series, nor throughout the entire playoffs themselves. Segura, I really don't know what to say about Segura. He had a half-decent year, 277. Throughout the playoffs, there was not much there. His defense was actually really good, but he really did. 214, he really didn't do much. He had one good game against the Padres, but that was about it. His defense was great, but I don't know if we should give him a contract because if they're looking into Trey Turner, we probably would want to keep Stott over the second base. So I don't even know if he deserves the contract, whether we should give it, whether he's going to get it. So we'll have to see there. Vierling, he don't matter much. Stott, I'm really proud of what Stott did throughout the whole year. He was batting 180 when he came up to the big leagues, and then he ended up 234. So I'm really proud of what Bryson Stott was able to accomplish this year. In the playoffs, not much to show for it, to be honest with you. He batted 136. That's absolutely horrendous. His defense was really good, but you gotta start hitting the ball. Our team is built around hitting, and if you're batting 136 throughout a playoff span, that's absolutely terrible. Obviously, I want to bring him back next year. I really loved what he was able to accomplish this year, but in the playoffs, he really didn't show that he deserved to be on the team. Sosa, I mean, they'll probably bring him back. He's pretty good defensively. Marsh, I'm glad to bring Brandon Marsh back. He's not a hitter, and I knew what we were getting into when we got him. So him not hitting the ball, I really don't care about. The rest of the lineup should be able to hit all right themselves, but he's a great defensive player. He's made some nice catches in the outfield. I really like Brandon Marsh. But, and then actually, no, I was about to move on to my next point, but I don't even have notes. I'm just looking through the team. The pitching, well, it was absolutely terrible throughout the playoffs. Nola just didn't look like himself at all. His changeup was off. He kept pitching balls. He was pitching the baseball right into players' power spots. He had a pretty bad postseason himself. Obviously, I love Wheeler. I think he did really good throughout the year. The playoffs were. He did pretty. I think he did pretty good against the playoffs. He did give up 2 runs, but he did get a little tired. So what can you do? Throughout the whole playoffs, Wheeler, what was his ERA here? 2.78. I'm not too upset about that. He is still one of the best pitchers in the MLB. He's really, and I'm happy to keep him. One guy that I really was impressed by though was Ranger Suarez. I really didn't have that much faith with Ranger Suarez coming into the postseason just because of the fact that I thought his durability was a problem. But he played really well. He had a 1.23 ERA. He pitched amazing. I really take my hat off to Ranger Suarez, and really I might have to give an apology because he was really good throughout this postseason, and I really hope he comes back next year because I really enjoyed what he did. Who else was a starter? Who else started? Syndergaard. I mean, Syndergaard, he more was a reliever throughout the entire postseason. But he did okay. He had a 3.24 ERA. He was a reliever most throughout, and then the fact that he was starting in a World Series game, I think they put a lot of pressure on him for that. But I still think Syndergaard's really good. And I hope he's back next year. I think he can improve with, he can improve with us. So we'll have to see there. And then the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen was pretty bad. Once again, except for Sir Anthony Dominguez, he had a half decent postseason himself. He had a 1.69 ERA. The only game he really didn't do that well in was game 5, I think it was, against the Padres, where he gave up those 2 wild pitch runs. So that was really his only game they didn't do that well. But other than that, Sir Anthony Dominguez is amazing. I really love what he was doing this year, and he had a really nice postseason. So hope he'll come back. Eflin, he was a little shaky in the start, but I think he picked it up as the postseason went on, so that was pretty good. Maybe that's his spot. Other than that, Brad Hand, Kyle Gibson, Nick Nelson, they all did okay. They weren't that special. Bellotti and Brogdon, they were a little more on the below average side, to be honest with you. But one guy that I really wanted to focus on was Alvarado. Alvarado, your postseason was terrible, and your World Series was terrible. The only reason, he had a 5.56 ERA. That is horrendous. Throughout the regular season, he had a 3.18 ERA. Fine. You did all right. You did pretty good. The games, I don't really let the stats fool me there. You did really good I think you had a pretty good regular season. But in the World Series, when you came in the game, your entire job was to get rid of Yordan Alvarez and go from there. You couldn't do that. You looked like a bum. He hit one at bat. He hit Yordan. Last night, Yordan hit a home run off of him. That is terrible. Your entire job is to get rid of Yordan Alvarez, and he owns you. That's just horrendous. That's terrible. When you got a job to do, and you just couldn't do it. I don't understand. But I want him to come back next year. I think he did pretty well. But it's clear there are guys we need to get rid of. I think Nick Nelson needs to go. I mean, I still don't have that much confidence in Robertson. I still don't really like him too much. Yeah, I'm just not a big fan of David Robertson. I don't know, but we'll have to see. Do I really blame the Phillies for losing the series? No, because I do think the Astros did cheat. I'll say it. Once a cheater, always a cheater. There was something with their bats. Valdez kept putting, his fingers on his, or kept rubbing his fingers on his face and neck. He was doing something. I don't really want to sound like a salty or just coming up with an excuse. They did do something. I hate the Astros. I hate Jose Altuve. He's a fraud. I really don't care what people say about that. Jose Altuve's a fraud. The only guy that's I don't like Hermie Pena, but I think he's the only one that's legit. I do think that Valdez was cheating in some sort. Obviously, their catcher or center fielder, I forget his name. No, it wasn't their catcher because Vasquez, the center fielder, he was cheating. It was proven that he was cheating with his bat. I hate the Astros. I don't know why the MLB, didn't take away their title. I'm a person who thought they should have taken away their title because, this shouldn't be allowed in our sports. But what can you do? It is what it is. I don't care what people say. You can tell me they weren't cheating. I mean, maybe they weren't, but I don't know. We're just going to move on from that. I'm going to try and move on. The Eagles are probably the number one team right now. They're 8-0. I think they have a chance of going to the Super Bowl. So I think we'll just move on to that. But for now, I'm just kind of upset. Yeah. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Make sure you subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Liam the Great Vlogs. There'll probably be a video out tomorrow on something. I think I do want to do a Aaron Judge video, a top 5 of where he'll go. Maybe I'll do an off season, where the Phillies should go at for the off season. I think they should look into Turner and maybe even DeGrom. I think those are 2 guys we could look into. But for now, we'll just try and let this roll over us and get ready for next year. All right, guys. Subscribe, post notifications on. Subscribe to my brother Liam. Follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.